What do convicted felons, donuts, and Christmas have in common? Find out right now. News, current events, politics, and everything in between. This is your number one source for finding out the truth. Never censored, never apologetic, and always patriotic. You're tuned in to the Patriot Perspective with the people's proud patriot, Alan Lee. What is up? It is your proud patriot, Alan Lee, and I had a chance to bring into the studio as our first in-studio guest ever is Donny Donuts. He is going to talk about the work that he is doing in Beaver County for the toy drive for this Christmas 2021. So I do apologize. The audio I didn't realize wasn't picking up real well, and I had to do a little bit of editing and kind of boost it levels a little bit. So it is a little bit, it's not quite the quality that we have like in the intro and most of our shows. So just bear with me. I apologize again for the audio, but I didn't want to re-record it. The interview was great. There was a lot of great information there. And all the details for the things that are being said in it about how to give or how to receive for this toy drive are going to be in the description below. While you're watching the show on whatever platform you're on, go ahead and click like, subscribe, and hit the bell on there. And that's the only way that I can make sure that we are going to notify you and you don't miss any of the shows. Another good way not to miss the shows is to go over to thepatriotperspective.com, sign up on our mailing list, and actually, right now we're running the 12 days before the 12 days before Christmas giveaway. And all you have to do to enter is be on our mailing list and check them emails. So go ahead and do that. Get signed up and kick back with a glass of hot cocoa and watch the interview with Donny Donuts.
So thanks for tuning in. I had a chance to sit down here with Shaun, Donny Donut. Goes by many things in our lounge here. And what do you have going on right now?
Oh man, we got a lot going on. We just actually had a meeting last night. We kicked off our second annual Santa Donut Secret Workshop here in Beaver County. We are aiming to provide minimum of 50 to 100 families throughout Beaver County with Christmas dinner and presents for their children, especially since the pandemic started
Right.
in 2020. It's been stressful on our country as a whole, and for the families that have lost work or unable to make ends meet because of being sick or schooling situations, or just they may have lost their job due to whatever reason.
Right.
Some folks are unable to make do for Christmas and any other holiday, just in general life. And our organization wants to help do better.
So, I mean, there's obviously there's a lot of people and organizations that do toy drives,
Yeah.
but it might be the first time I've heard of like dinner for the family as well.
Yeah, last year was our first. It all happened. Literally, it happened everything 6 days before Christmas
Wow.
because an organization that I'm not going to name because I don't want to give them a bad rep, because they do a lot of good for the community, but at the time they weren't sure about me because of my past, and they were basing off of 20 years ago rather than the good things that I've been doing for the last 9+ years now. I respected that. At first, I was taken aback, and it kind of hurt.
Right.
So I made a couple of phone calls to a few people, and we ended up putting together a workshop over at Premier Community Center in Hopewell with Jared Boyer and Rico Elmore and Peter Jackson from Top Shine Cleaning. Those three guys come together to help me do better, and we were able to provide food from the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank, who since then I have formed a partnership with through my organization. Just here over Thanksgiving, I worked with the Helping Hands of Beaver County. We did a donation day at Foodland in Brighton and raised some money that helped cover a little over 30 families for Thanksgiving Day.
Wow. So you said this is your second one.
This is my second one.
And how many families about did you help last year?
Last year, initially it started out with just the stuff that my wife and I had gotten when we had gotten the list for 7 specific families. We went and we got the presents for those 7 families as well as the food.
Okay.
Then the organization withdrew and said they wouldn't accept the stuff. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Because I'm not taking this stuff back to the store.
Right.
So I made the call to those 3 guys, and we ultimately ended up helping, I think, 56 families altogether, and multiple children in some of the families. I think our biggest family had like 7 children. Every child got at least 3 to 5 presents that were wrapped to the child's name from Santa, because we got to keep the spirit of Christmas alive for our children. It's very important that they continue to have that belief and understand that we said the main reason we celebrate Christmas is the birth of Jesus.
Right. I mean, I think that's why Christmas has been so attacked, whether it's just the consumer side of attacking, turning it from this what we call the spirit of Christmas and Jesus' birth and the spirit of giving and why we give, and I think it's obviously it's come under attack for that. It's also come under attack just in the word Christmas. I do see that more companies over the last couple years are going back to that. They're pushing back, but I mean for a while it seemed like almost everybody was pushing against the idea of Christmas and what it really meant. At least this year, more stores were closed for Thanksgiving. And like you said, I think, with the pandemic that happened, it started to open some people's eyes to how important those things were.
Yeah.
When they were caught up in every year you do the same thing, they kind of lost sight. But when those freedoms had been stripped away from them, they started to realize just how important it was. So when there's people like you out there doing that, I think, whether you realize it or not, it's probably making even a bigger impact on them, maybe to the point where they don't even realize it. And obviously the kids, it's impacting them, but you're giving them that glimmer of hope again in a world where there's not much right now. I believe your kids are homeschooled.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine are. We pulled them out when they did the mask mandates.
Yep. I have 6 children, 9 to 16 in the home.
Wow. Yeah, so just with that alone, I mean, the kids aren't around their friends as much. They are seeing these changes happen, and they're looking for stability. And I mean, what better stability than celebrating Jesus' birth, who is the only one who can offer a stable situation?
Yeah.
And then something that happens every year. So this year, do you have a obviously you want to help as many as possible.
Yes.
But is there like a goal in mind, or do you have
our minimum? Our goal is to help at least 100 families.
Okay.
100 families is our goal. Bottom end is at least 50.
Yeah.
But our goal is to help at least 100 families.
So what do you need? So give me your time frame.
Actually, we just start today is day 1. We met last night, had a meeting. We are going to collect presents, unwrapped, and monetary donations from now until December 14th. So we have 15 days.
Okay.
And then we are going to go and purchase the toys that are and presents and food for the families that we have on our list. and then we will have distribution points set up. So far, we've confirmed 2 at Community Center in Hopewell, which will service Hopewell and Aliquippa. And then we have Faith Ministries in Rochester. We will be servicing Rochester and Freedom. We're looking for a spot in New Brighton to service New Brighton and Beaver Falls, and then a spot for Ambridge.
Okay. So those locations he's already mentioned, I'll make sure I put those in the description below. Also with that, is there a way for people to get in touch with you? You know, you're looking for not only locations, but you're looking for donations.
You can Cash App or PayPal or Venmo. I would say you could go through our website, but going through our website, they take a percentage of all money that's donated. So I linked a Cash App, a Venmo, and a PayPal to our organization bank account. So any money that comes in, I can transfer directly into the bank without paying those ridiculous fees.
Right.
If anybody would like to learn more information, I can be reached at sdugay@thedonnyDonutProject.org, or
You want to spell that?
SDUGUAY at THEDONNYDONUTPROJECT.org.
I'll have that in the description as well.
That's a long one. Or you can reach me on the phone at 724-581-4907.
I'll put that up on the screen. I'm not going to put that in the description because the bots pick up on phone numbers and things like that. We don't want you getting bombarded with that. So we have a 100 goal at least, 50 minimum, but you know we're shooting for 100. And you have a couple of locations in mind. Do you have a team behind you? Who's all working with you?
We've got my board. Rico Elmore is my vice president, co-chair. Wendy, my wife, my secretary, Cassie Lindeman, my treasurer, Cassidy Sircone from New Brighton. We have, I believe you're going to come on board.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
We've got the man here. We have Ambridge PD as well. Officer Dante Esparetta is my point of contact with them. He's actually working with me to plan our other event that's going to be coming up on May 14th, which is Cops versus Robbers for charity.
Oh, that sounds good.
We can get to that one later. But we also have the members of the Helping Hands of Beaver County as well, and Undercover Angels, Jersey Birdland.
So, and I imagine like people like Undercover Angels and maybe even the Ambridge Police Department, are they helping find the families that are in need? Okay.
Yes.
So if one of the families are maybe watching this, or someone who's watching knows one, is there a way to get them in touch with you, or
have them contact me either on Facebook or via email? I get back within 24 hours. I check my email periodically throughout the day, and I get notifications via Facebook.
So a little backstory, because I'm curious that the second year, what 3 years ago made you want to take this up? I mean, obviously, I know you personally, so I know that you're a caring person. It's not far fetched for you to do it,
right?
But where was that aha moment where this is the direction you need to go?
That aha moment was on February 21st of 2020. My mom was on life support with COVID and pneumonia and bronchitis and some other stuff. For 17 days she spent on a ventilator. And I was unable to be at the hospital with her because here on February 17th, my landlord pulled a gun on me. Our furnace broke and I was trying to get our furnace fixed. He pulled a gun on me, had him arrested. He refused to fix the furnace, and code enforcement came down the house.
Wow.
and put me and my wife and my children on the street. We had to surrender my daughter and my son's puppy that we had just gotten in June for their birthday to the Humane Society, and I had to put us in I overdrafted my bank account to put us into a hotel for at least 2 weeks to try and figure out my next move. And then on February 20th, I went to sleep that night and I woke up Friday the 21st, and I was sleeping on the floor in the hotel room. It was me, my wife, my youngest son, and my daughter were in the bed with my wife. Two of my other sons were in another bed, and the other two were on the fold-out couch. And I slept on the floor, and I got up that morning, and I took my green key out of my wallet. I left it on the desk, and I gave everybody a tip. I went to Hopewell to see a friend right quick, and I left my truck running. I ended up running out of gas. I was on my way to drive my truck off the end of the Aliquippa Bridge. I walked to the gas station with a gas can, cursing God. But at the same time, I was asking for help. And out of nowhere, I hear, "Yo, bro, you need some help." And it just happened to be Jared Boyer. I'd already gotten the gas. I got 1 gallon of gas. At that point, my life was worth $2.83 to make sure my family would be taken care of by cashing in. They would be able to cash in my insurance policy off of an accident. Nobody would know. It was an accident. And then Jared asked me if I needed some help. I took a deep breath and I looked up and looked back at him and I said, yes. Hopped in this man's truck. Don't know him from a can of paint. And I asked me what was going on, and I just emotionally vomited all over him. Now, we were only like 2 minutes from my truck, but I didn't know how to get back to it. I told him where I was at, and we drove around for like 20 minutes of being able to vent. And when we got back to his truck, or back to my truck, I thanked him, and he gave me a card. And he said, "Before you get out, would you mind if I prayed for you?" I said, "You know what? I appreciate that." So we said a prayer together. He got out. He pulled off. I put the gallon of gas in my truck. I went back to the gas station. I put another $12 in because that was what I had. And I went a different way to work that day. And I started really reflecting on the selflessness of a total stranger at 5 o'clock in the morning. And it was just like, man. And then as I get to know Jared, I think this man has the world by the cojones. And he's just like me. He struggles. He takes what he has and he gives it because that's what God wants to do. So I really thought about it for the next month. And on April 24th of 2020, I rededicated my life to Jesus and I enrolled in college. And my first day of class was on May 12th, 2020. Very significant date. because on May 12th, 2015, I maxed out my state parole sentence.
Wow.
I spent 7.5 years in state prison, 13 years total incarcerated, from the age of 19 to 32.
Yeah.
And it was like, why? Why? And then it's like, okay. When I rededicated my life, I started seeing things outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
And then on April 28th of 2020, I was working in Leafdale, building windows. I was working an average of 90 plus hours a week there, plus I had 3 paper routes. I'd start work at midnight, and I would work until 7:30, 8 o'clock the next night without a break.
Wow.
That's just been my work ethic my entire growing up.
Yeah.
I learned my work ethic from my grandfather and my uncle who were truck drivers. My uncle still drives trucks.
Yeah.
He was 600 pounds truck driving up and down out of the truck. And it's Donny Donut. I was called Donut when I was younger. It was a bully name.
Yeah.
Because I was heavy.
I was going to get to why,
Yeah.
I've always wondered. I just thought you liked donuts a lot. I wasn't sure.
Well, I like cream-filled donuts. I like jelly-filled donuts, and that's where the donut that's named after me comes from.
Right.
But before I got to that point, it was April 28th. I was working. A couple of my coworkers are professional wrestlers. I was in the wrestling scene at the same time, and I was trying to think of a new manager gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
And Donny Donut. It rolled right off. They started laughing. They started clowning me. So I'm like, all right, maybe I can actually do something more with this.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching everything that's going on in the world, in the country, and it's just like, there's too much hate. There's too much negativity. So I Googled the population of the U.S. At that time, it was 329 million. Hence, my goal of 329 million smiles. That's actually gone up. The U.S. population is now at 338 million, even with all the COVID stuff.
Well,
But-
yeah, we
but at
already
the
know
same
how that
time-
comes down.
But at the same time, we've also got open borders.
Mm-hmm.
So our population, of course, is going to continue to grow. And I'm okay with that because that means I've got 337,999,999 different personalities to figure out to put a smile on their face. And that's a challenge that I'm up for.
Yeah.
It's all about positivity. One thing I do is going to make some people smile, but it might make somebody else, it might hurt their feelings. And I don't say or do anything to intentionally hurt anybody.
Right.
Because my ultimate goal is 338 million smiles.
I mean, and it's impossible. And it's
The impossible is possible.
Well, no, not that making everyone smile is impossible, but it's impossible to that one thing you do will make everybody happy.
Right.
Somebody's going to dislike it for whatever reason. It could be a very valid reason. It could be a very justified reason. It could just be something personal that one individual went through.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that people are forgetting now with everybody being so offended all the time, that there's no fix for never being offended. The only thing you can fix is finding a way to laugh in the face of the offense. And of course, if someone's being malicious, it's a different situation. And it's funny because I was watching, I surf YouTube sometimes when I'm doing editing or whatever. And I came across like the 10, how is it worded? The 10 most moving Christmas commercials. And watching them, 99% of them were all commercials that, while they were put on by a brand, they weren't about the product, and they were about someone who was struggling, someone giving to them. The one I remember the most was there was an elderly man who lived across the street from a woman, and he lived alone, and it was the only house that didn't have any decorations and things like that. And the guy had gone out I guess I don't remember if they showed where he was going to, but it was in the middle of the night, and the couple across the street watched him, got in his car, drove down the road, and they took all their Christmas decorations off their house and they put it on his. And when he came to the house, he saw it and he was crying. And I realized, not only, I mean, those moments are amazing, but those were all older commercials from when I was a kid and back.
Right.
And I started thinking about commercials nowadays, and it's all about consumption. Yeah. I mean, very rarely do you even see a commercial about gifting something to someone else. It's all about, what do you want? They're sitting there opening.
It's all about taking.
And what, we need people like you, because everyone's lost the vision. There's no purpose to it anymore. Black Friday used to be the time to go out and buy good deals for people that needed something. Now it's all about buying something for yourself. Yep. And the world didn't used to be like that. The world used to have the commercials on where it was about giving, and it moved people to want to support that company. Yep. And the company's obviously, it's marketing. But I believe, at least the way I looked at it, it was 50% marketing and 50% giving. They knew that obviously they put their logo there, you know who did it, but they were saying, this is what we believe in. We believe in giving, and here's what we do. And people wanted to support them because of that, rather than buy from us, here's what you get out of it. And, I mean, it's kind of like the Hershey Kisses commercial that comes on every year. Yeah, we know they're Hershey Kisses. Yeah, they're in front of us. We think Hershey Kisses when we see it. But it's more so about Christmas, the Eaton Park commercial. It's more so about Christmas. You know who it is. They have their logo there. But they're not.
Folgers. Remember the old Folgers?
Yes.
Coming home for the holidays, the kid comes home, or the family, everyone was asleep.
Yeah.
And the sun surprised everybody. Everybody woke up to the smell of Folgers.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, the Budweiser horses.
Yeah.
Commercials when I was growing up, they were, you knew who was putting them on, but they were to give the Christmas spirit, less than selling you something. Yeah. And now it's
everything's just trying to shove stuff down your throat. Yeah. It's not about the true meaning anymore.
There's no, I can't say no, but there's rarely thoughtful commercials. It's product, someone having fun with the product. Yeah. And we lost what you're bringing back. And so I personally appreciate it.
Thank you for that. And I mean, there's a lot more. There's a lot coming. Yeah. And it's not just going to be here. We have some big aspirations and some ginormous goals. We're putting ourselves in position right now. I think 2022 is going to be a monumental year for the Donny Donut Project and Gripping Scripture Radio. That's Gripping Scripture is my ministry. We have a radio station, Gripping Scripture Radio Online, that we're actually, over the next few years, I'm hoping to build up to be an alternative to K-Love.
Okay.
It's more music, more positive, uplifting words.
Lots of things going on there.
Yeah, the wheels are turning. They're spinning right now.
So have you gotten? I guess just to talk about both sides, and I know I know you're busy, so I don't want to hold you any longer than.
We're good, man.
But so let's talk about the positive part of it. Have you gotten anybody who jumped on board or has gotten behind you, like maybe that of a recognizable stature or anything like that?
So far, to the donut, that's where we were at. We squirreled off.
Yeah.
That's what my wife calls it. She calls it squirreling when we're talking about one thing and then we start talking about something else.
It happens with me.
I do it too all the time. Normally it don't come back. That's where I was at. I was trying to gear up where we were at. On May 6th, 2020, we got our first stimulus check.
Okay.
We took care of our bills, and then the remaining balance, I'm like, all right, Lord, what do I do here? I went to Max Donut Shop in Aliquippa. I stood there for an hour and a half. And as every customer come up, they made their order, when they were finished, I would step up. I would hand them a business card. I would say, your donuts are on me today. The only thing I ask is for a smile and you to remember the name Donny Donut. And then I stood there for an hour and a half to come out to a little over $700. And then
A lot of people eat donuts. I would have not thought.
I went back a week later, or 2 weeks later, when we got, I had gotten my, it was either it was the stimulus from the unemployment.
Okay.
I went back over again, and I did the same thing. This time, the owners were there, and they come out, and they asked me why I was doing what I was doing. I told them, I said, I'm tired of medicine. I'm tired of the negativity. And we got to talking about donuts, and I asked JW, I said, is there a way maybe you'd be able to do like a berry cream donut or something? He was like, well, let me work some things, and I'll let you know. We exchanged numbers. On May 24th, he called me up. I went in, I think it was the 24th. Might have been it. It was that third Saturday. Because what I was doing was I was going to Foodland in New Brighton. I would go over to Max and I would buy 10 dozen glazed donuts. And I would go sit up outside, set a table up outside of Foodland as people were either coming in or coming out. They'd stop over, ask how much a donut is. You give me a smile, you get a donut. No, seriously, how much? A smile. People find it hard to believe that somebody is giving something away without wanting anything in return other than a smile. Because that's where our society is at now. Nobody does anything without expecting something in return. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I'm expecting in return for a donut is a smile. That's it. I don't want nothing else. If you want to make a contribution to go back into the community, more welcome to. We are a 501c3. Our bank records, our anything that we spend, all of that's available. The only way we're going to, because of my record, that's why I have so much trouble. So I have to be 1,000,000% transparent with everything in my life. And so that's what I do. I make sure everything is available and accessible. Within 72 hours, I can have a report put together. Here you go. You can see where every penny is spent. And to this day, I've not collected one penny of my salary. My salary is $50,001. And the reason that is because of my past. I was told that I would never hold a legal job making $50,000 a year. So I brought it to the board, and they asked why the 50,001. Because on average, an executive director on the low end makes a little over $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. I don't want that. I just want enough to be able to provide for my family. Everything else, yeah. I don't need it. I don't want it. Because I've been that selfish person that didn't care about hurting anybody, even my family. I mean, I was a selfish person. I was a narcissist. And then something clicked in me in 2008 when I went back to prison. 2 weeks after I went back to prison, my best friend lost half his unit in an IED attack in Afghanistan. I wasn't able to be there for him when he came home. My other best friend, who was more like a little brother to me, got married on June 7th. I was supposed to be a part of his wedding. I wasn't able to be there because of my selfishness, because of decisions I made. And I wanted to point the finger and I wanted to blame anybody and everybody. But the common denominator in all that was myself. I put myself in this position. I put myself in a situation that I could have easily walked away from or avoided. But I was too selfish, too arrogant to walk away from it. And then when I come home on October 18th of 2012, I knew it was time to make a change. And I actually held my very first benefit on April 16th of 2016 over at the Germany in the practice field. We did a Drop 22 challenge for soldier suicide awareness with PTSD and TBI. Partnered with Frogman and Gator from Froggy, who have both since gone on to new paths. And I'm still in touch with both of them, actually. Lenny Frogman is still my mentor. We actually just talked the other day.
Yeah.
So he's out in Arizona doing amazing things for the kids, and God send them out there. And I forget where I was at.
So back to the donut.
Yes, that's where we were at. We were at the donut.
Just in case anybody missed it, anybody in the Beaver County area or who want to travel from outside of it, where can they get?
Max Donut Shop in Aliquippa on Broadhead Road. I apologize, I do not have the street number right now.
I'm sure it's on Google.
It is, but it's Max Donut Shop there. If you'd like to get a Donny donut, they ask that you call ahead because right now it is not an everyday item in the case. You can call ahead. It's been a while since I've been able to get out and do a drop, but I normally would go buy 10 dozen and I would go out and set up in a business somewhere in the community and give away the donuts. They're individually packaged. So
if someone wanted to contact you and order a dozen, you'd be able to arrange that.
yes, I would.
There you go.
We actually do that with the local PDs. I'll go pick up and take. There's actually 3 flavors right now. There's the blueberry cream, there's a strawberry cream, and there's a cherry cream. I heard that. Yeah. Let me tell you.
Yeah. So
something special over there at Max.
We might have to make a trip. So to wrap it up, the dates again where we're going to be. How long are you accepting?
We're accepting up until December 14th. And then the 15th, 16th, and 17th, we're going to have a wrap party at the secret workshop. And then on the 18th will be our distribution. We'll have the families come. They can pick up their stuff there. Or if they're unable to make it, we have some folks that will be able to do a delivery as well. And that will be on Saturday the 18th.
Is there any specific times you have set up yet, or are you still
we're
working
looking at for the pickups? We're looking between 11 and 4.
Okay.
So we'll have about a 5-hour window. That way, our volunteers and our helpers, they'll have time to be able to get back home and spend the evening with their families as well.
So, if anybody wants to drop off anything, you said the drop-off points were again
Faith Ministries in Rochester, Premier Youth Community Center in Hopewell, or you can contact me and we can make and schedule arrangements for the delivery.
Okay. Are there certain times or certain days between those dates at those locations?
At this time, we don't have anything locked in. Basically, it's going to go off of the people that we have collecting. We have a few different people. We're going to put a post on Facebook and tag the folks that are going to be collecting at the different drop points for us. So you'll be able to reach out and contact one of those people to make arrangements to pick up your donation, or if you're a family that would like to nominate a family, or if you're a family that is in need and you struggle with pride. Please don't struggle, because that was my thing. I was too proud to ask for help when I needed it. And it beats you up inside. So it's okay to swallow your pride and ask for help if it's needed. And we will help in any way we can. If we're unable to help, I know other organizations that can point us in the direction to get you the help that you need, whether it be food, whether it be clothing, whether it be housing, whether it be mentoring, anything at all.
That is good information. For gifts, you said you're taking cash donations as well.
Yes,
of course,
cash,
with your
gift cards.
Yeah, with your 501c.
Everything is a
Status,
tax
everything.
write-off. If you would like, I can give you a letter that you would be able to use as a tax write-off whenever you file your taxes at the end of the year.
And then any of the gifts unwrapped, because I know you guys like to wrap them specifically
Yes.
for each child and things
Yes.
like that you'll be donating that to. Any types of gifts that are off the table, any ones that you know are great ones to definitely have in your bag?
Anything and everything is on the table.
Okay.
You know, because we have a variety of ages. You know, we go from infant, which we really don't have much for. You know, it's more so for the 4-year-olds to roughly 12 and 13-year-olds. I mean, look, I kept Santa alive and believing with my youngins.
Yeah.
I still got some that still believe, and they're in
Yeah,
their early teens.
All but my oldest daughter believes, and she was starting to catch on, and it was getting to the point where if we didn't tell her, someone at the school would, and then she'd end up saying something. So we told her. She was perfectly fine with it. She was like, "Oh," I said, "Now you get to help be Santa too." Yeah. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I believe more than they do.
I do.
My eyes light up when I watch the Polar Express every time he pulls in.
Man.
And of course, I went and saw it by myself too in the theater, because that's how big of a fan I am. If I could sit on Santa's lap at the mall and get away with it these days, I would. Yeah. So, let me think. You're doing that. 18th, you're doing
the
the distribution. What is your next plan? Is your next thing going to be in May?
No, the next thing is going to be we're probably going to do a 5K with MS.
Okay.
We're in talks with a couple of different organizations right now. We want to do kind of like a polar 5K.
Yeah. So where can people find anything that you're doing? All your events? Is there
Facebook or my website.
Okay.
Most of it's going to be on Facebook. Donny Donut.
Donny Donut? That's
Yeah.
the Facebook,
Yeah.
and then
Or you can even find it on the Shaun Bouguet or the website, the DonnyDonutProject.org.
the DonnyDonutProject.org.
Good.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully we can guide some people your direction and get some more people involved, because I think what you're doing is one of those things that everyone should be doing, but we need people like you. So
Lead by example.
Yes.
The impossible is possible. At the end of the day, no matter what you're going through, no matter how bad it is, there is somebody out there that has it a little bit worse. So instead of being ungrateful for the things that we don't have, be grateful for the things that we do have. And right now, I'm grateful for the opportunity to sit and talk with you and share with your viewers and your listeners.
I'm honored.
We
So,
do better together.
Yes, I agree. On that note, thank you for tuning in. Again, we're going to get all those details down in the description. Click like and share. And yeah, let's make this Christmas one to remember.
So yeah, the impossible is possible.
News, current events, politics, and everything in between. This is your number one source for finding out the truth. Never censored, never apologetic, and always patriotic. You're tuned in to the Patriot Perspective with the people's proud patriot, Alan Lee.